She thought she was living her best life, until the night a video of her in the club went viral, and landed in her father's WhatsApp group. The night had been wild. A blur of neon lights, trap beats, sweaty bodies, and laughter. Rebecca barely remembered half of it, just that she wore the red dress Jessica had picked for her. The one that left little to imagination. She had danced with David, posed for pictures, and even did a shot of something blue that made her head spin. The next morning, her phone buzzed nonstop. She wiped sleep from her eyes and checked it. Girl, you trending oh. See what in dem post you for that gossip blog. Check Gossip Gum fast. Rebecca blinked. Her stomach dropped. She tapped the link. A video loaded. Blurry. Loud. Club lights flashing. But unmistakable. There she was. Dancing. Smiling. Twirling. Her red dress shining like fire. In the background, Jessica held a bottle, spraying it like a champagne queen. And worst of all, David's hand was resting way too low on her back. Her mouth went dry. Thousands of views. Hundreds of comments. Pastor pickin' day groove like this? See what in church girl they do behind closed doors. She's too fine a beg. Hypocrites full everywhere. Rebecca felt her throat tighten. But that wasn't the worst part. The video had been shared on multiple platforms, including WhatsApp. It didn't take long for it to reach Faithful Fathers Fellowship, where her dad was a silent member. Pastor James saw the video around 3:42 p.m. He had just returned from hospital visitation, praying for a sick deacon who had cancer. He sat on his sofa, removed his clerical collar, and opened his phone to read the group messages. When he saw the thumbnail, he didn't flinch. He just tapped. Watched. Paused. Rewound. Watched again. The silence in the room was thunderous. His daughter. His Rebecca. The one who sang, "Holy Spirit come down," like angels bathed in her voice, now grinding on a man in the middle of a smoky club. He didn't call her. He didn't scream. He simply set the phone down on the table. And whispered, "God, please, not my daughter." Rebecca didn't notice the shift immediately. Her dad still greeted her calmly that night. Her mom kissed her cheek as usual. The family ate jollof rice with grilled chicken like nothing had happened. But the silence, the way her father avoided eye contact, the way her mother kept watching her as if trying to figure out if her own daughter was now a stranger, it was deafening. By the third day, Rebecca was sweating inside her own skin. "You're not going back to that choir, are you?" Jessica scoffed, flipping her wig to the side as they lounged in a plush Airbnb suite that Saturday night. "After what happened online? Girl, your cover is blown." Rebecca sighed. "It's not that simple. You're too fine for all this guilt nonsense," Jessica said, passing her a glass of chilled rose. "Come on. You've already sinned. Enjoy the pleasure, too." She laughed. Rebecca didn't. Jessica leaned closer, her tone dropping. "You know David's obsessed, right? The boy's already threatening any guy that tries to talk to you." Rebecca frowned. "He what?" Jessica pulled out her phone and showed her a message thread. "David. She's mine. I made her. If I see another man near her again, I'll ruin him." Rebecca's heart sank. Jessica shrugged. "Told you. The boy's mad." Rebecca placed her drink down and reached for her phone. 30 missed calls from David. She shivered. David showed up at her doorstep the next day, uninvited. Smiling. Holding a tiny box. "For you," he said. "To protect you." Inside was a beautiful gold necklace, delicate and glowing. Rebecca smiled weakly. "You didn't have to." "It has a tracker," David whispered, leaning close. "So I can always know you're safe." Her smile froze. "You trust me, right?" Rebecca nodded slowly, heart thudding. Pastor James still hadn't confronted her. He wanted her to confess. He prayed day and night. Fasted for 3 days. Anointed her bedroom door while she slept. But nothing came. His wife, Nkechi, couldn't take it anymore. "She's lying, James," she whispered through tears one night. "She's living a double life." "She's our daughter," he replied. "Let's wait. Let the truth choke her into honesty." But time was running out. Rebecca's phone pinged at 2 a.m. Unknown. "Nice pics at the hotel." Want your daddy to see them? Attached were 3 photos, her and David in bed. David kissing her neck. Her smiling into the camera. Unknown. Pay me in $300K or your secrets go viral. You have 3 days. Rebecca screamed silently, throwing her phone across the bed. Who took those pictures? How? When? She was trapped. Couldn't tell Jessica. Couldn't tell David. Couldn't tell her parents. She curled into herself and cried. That night, while Rebecca slept, her mother crept into her room. Ketchy had had enough. She took her phone. It wasn't locked. Inside, texts from Jessica. Photos from parties. Messages from David. The blackmail threat. She gasped. Dropped the phone. Tears streamed down her cheeks. She walked to the living room. Pastor James was praying. She handed him the phone. Said nothing. He read. He stared. He closed his eyes. Tomorrow. Rebecca tiptoed in at 2:12 a.m. Red heels in hand. Wig in her purse. She opened the door quietly, trying not to wake anyone. She turned the corner, froze. The living room lights were on. Her father sat in his usual chair. Bible on his lap. Phone in hand. Her mother stood beside him, arms folded. Eyes red from crying. Behind them, the TV screen glowed. Paused on an image. Her. In the club. Red dress. David behind her. She stood still. Her lips quivering. Is this who you've become? Pastor James asked, voice calm but hollow. She opened her mouth. Nothing came. Tears rushed down. Her phone buzzed in her purse. She ignored it. Buzz. Buzz. She pulled it out. Unknown. You're running out of time. Rebecca stood frozen in the living room. Her parents staring at her. The viral video paused behind them. Her father's voice still echoed in her head. Is this who you've become? And then, her phone buzzed. Unknown. You're running out of time. The silence after Pastor James' question was longer than a funeral prayer. Rebecca couldn't speak. Her tears did the talking. Her mother finally stepped forward. Who is blackmailing you? She asked softly. Rebecca's eyes widened. You saw. Pastor James nodded. We know everything, Rebecca. She sank to her knees. I didn't mean for any of this to happen. The room was quiet again, except for her sobs. Her mother wanted to go to the police. Her father disagreed. Expose her shame to the world? Pastor James said. Let's fix this inside our home. But things weren't that simple. Rebecca was terrified. The blackmailer knew everything. And they wanted money she didn't have. David wasn't an option. Jessica would just twist it to her advantage. She was trapped. The next few days were a nightmare. Her parents barely spoke to her. Church members began whispering. Someone had leaked more photos anonymously. Rebecca stayed inside. Didn't sing. Didn't go out. Until one night, Jessica showed up banging at her door. Why are you ghosting me? She snapped. And why is your father calling me a devil in disguise? Rebecca glared. Did you leak the photos? Jessica laughed. I'm a lot of things, babe, but I'm not stupid. But her eyes said something else. David found out she had stopped going to gigs. He showed up at her house at midnight, drunk, aggressive, and loud. Pastor James opened the door and stood tall. David raised his voice. Where is she? Tell her I love her. I own her. Rebecca peeked from her window, shivering. Her father simply said, Leave now, before I call the police. David spat on the ground. I made her what she is. You can't save her now. Then he stumbled into the night. Rebecca received another message. Unknown. Your daddy's sermons are cute. Let's see if the church still listens when I drop the hotel video. You have 24 hours. Attached. A 6-second silent clip of her and David, in the act. Her heart almost stopped. She threw up in the sink. Pastor James summoned her quietly. They sat in his study, just the two of them. I've made mistakes, he said. I judged you before helping you. But it's not too late. He handed her an envelope. 200,000 naira. I will raise the rest. Pay whoever this is. And then we're going to war, on our knees and in real life. Rebecca broke down. It was the first time she saw her father as more than just a pastor. Rebecca arranged the payment through a crypto wallet as instructed. But hours later, she received a final message. Unknown. Payment received. But I lied. See you soon, church girl. She stared at her phone. That's when the first fake Twitter account tagged her church's handle. A blurry screenshot. The beginning of a storm. Jessica calls her, panicked. Girl, someone's setting you up. And it's big. Rebecca stares at the screen. Suddenly, she knows, this isn't just blackmail. It's a setup. But by who? David? Jessica? Someone in the church? Her life isn't just falling apart. It's being dismantled on purpose. Rebecca thought paying the blackmailer would end it. Instead, they doubled down. And now, a storm was coming, one she might not survive. It started with the church blog. An anonymous article titled, The Pastor's Daughter and Her Secret Life, Shocking Revelations. Photos. Chat screenshots. The grainy hotel video, blurred, but recognizable. It spread like wildfire. Rebecca opened her phone and saw her own face on Twitter, Instagram, even TikTok. The comments were brutal. Preacher's daughter turned OnlyFans girl? God gave her beauty, she gave it to Satan. Now we know why Pastor James never preached about parenting. Pastor James was summoned for an emergency church council meeting. Old men in dusty suits. Old women with lips folded tight. He stood his ground. My daughter is under attack. And if we fall into gossip, we are no better than the devil doing this. But the whispers didn't stop. Some demanded he step down. Others wanted Rebecca delivered. Someone even suggested an exorcism. Jessica showed up again, smiling like a cat who just finished a bowl of cream. I told you David was poison, she said, sipping wine on Rebecca's couch. Rebecca was numb. I thought you were my friend. Jessica tilted her head. I am. I just think you were always too soft. This world? It belongs to bad bitches. Rebecca studied her. And that's when she noticed. The bracelet Jessica was wearing. Gold. Thin. With a small diamond. David had gifted her that same bracelet last year. She dug into Jessica's phone when she went to the bathroom. Password QueenBoss1, typical Jessica. What she found? Voice notes between Jessica and David. Planning how to trap her. Discussing the fake photographer. Laughing about the money she would lose. Jessica's voice. She's soft. I just need to push her a little more and she'll crack. Then we'll own her. David's reply. She better. Or I'll drop the whole tape. Let her pastor daddy explain that one on Sunday. Rebecca's hands trembled. The phone fell from her hand. That night, Rebecca didn't cry. She packed her bags. Left a note for her parents. I'm going to fix this. But I have to disappear first. She took the 100,000 naira she had left, wore a black hoodie, and left for Lagos. She had one plan. Find the truth. Expose everyone. Make them all pay. In Lagos, she stayed with her cousin Miriam. Tech-savvy, street-smart, and loyal. Miriam began tracing the anonymous accounts, IP addresses, and crypto wallet movement. After 3 days of digital digging, Miriam looked up from her laptop. I found something. Rebecca leaned in. Miriam pointed at the screen. The wallet that received the blackmail payment? It was traced back to a digital wallet registered in Pastor James' church office IP address. Rebecca went cold. No. That's impossible. Miriam shook her head. I double-checked. Someone at your father's church is involved. Rebecca returned to church a week later, quiet, unnoticed, during midweek service. She watched. Observed. And then she saw it. Church Secretary Grace. Typing rapidly. Switching between tabs. One of the open windows showed. Crypto wallet dashboard. Rebecca's heart pounded. Grace was the one. But why? Rebecca's world is burning. Her lover betrayed her. Her best friend backstabbed her. Now someone inside the church is puppeteering the chaos. But she's not backing down. This time, she's out for justice. Even if it means burning bridges. Even if it means taking down the church. Rebecca discovered that someone inside her father's church was behind the blackmail. All signs pointed to Grace, the church secretary. But the real truth? Much darker than she imagined. Rebecca waited until after Sunday service. The congregation was gone. The sun was heavy outside. She walked into the office and locked the door behind her. Grace looked up from her laptop, startled. Rebecca placed her phone on the table, recording. "I know what you did." Grace's face froze. "I have the crypto trail, the login records, even a voice recording of your call with Jessica." Grace folded her arms. "So what? You think anyone will believe a spoiled church girl like you? After everything that's out there?" Rebecca stepped closer. "They'll believe what I show them. And I'm going to show them everything." Grace leaned back in her chair and laughed bitterly. "You think this is about you? This is bigger than you, Rebecca." "What does that mean?" "It means your daddy isn't the saint you think he is." Rebecca frowned. "Lies." Grace stood. Walked over to a locked drawer. Opened it. Inside, documents, photos, burner phones. Files on dozens of people. All the church's skeletons. And I've kept them safe. Just in case. She handed Rebecca a folder labeled DJ. Rebecca opened it. Photos of David. Pastor James. Church funds. Meetings in hotels. Bank transfers. It all clicked. Her father had been paying David to keep secrets of his own. Rebecca was never the real target. She was leverage. That evening, Rebecca stood in front of her father. The documents were on the table. He looked tired. Defeated. "I did it to protect the ministry," he said quietly. "To protect you. You protected yourself," she replied. "And used me as a shield." He didn't argue. She walked to the door. "I'll be leaving tomorrow. But not before I go live with everything." That night, she went live on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at once. "My name is Rebecca James. You've heard lies. Let me show you the truth." She showed the photos, the crypto evidence, the voice recordings. She told everything: David, Jessica, Grace, her father. The internet exploded. Some cheered her bravery. Some dragged her further. But one thing was clear. She wasn't hiding anymore. David fled. Rumor had it he was in Ghana. Jessica deleted her social media and disappeared. Grace was arrested after several victims came forward with blackmail claims. Pastor James stepped down from the pulpit. The church was silent for weeks. 1 year later, Rebecca sat in her small apartment in Abuja. She now ran a nonprofit called Her Truth Nigeria, helping young women escape abuse, blackmail, and manipulation. She wasn't rich. She wasn't famous. But she was free. A scar remained. But it was a reminder, not of shame, but of survival. One message stood out in her inbox that day. "Thank you for telling your story. I almost took my life last year. You saved me." Rebecca smiled. She closed her laptop, walked to the window, and watched the sun rise. The storm had passed. And she had survived. Rebecca's story isn't just a tale, it's a mirror. It shows how one wrong choice, one night, one influence, can spiral into a trap that feels impossible to escape. It shows how silence can scream louder than words, and how secrets kept in the dark eventually rot everything around them. But most importantly, it teaches us that truth always finds a way out. That healing is messy. That breaking free is painful. But freedom is always worth it. Rebecca chose to speak up. To take back her story. To walk away from shame, and walk into purpose. Now, a few questions for you. Have you ever felt trapped in a life you didn't choose? Are there secrets you're holding that are slowly breaking you? What would happen if you told the truth? Let this be your sign. To break free. To forgive yourself. To start over. Because no matter how far you've fallen, you're not too far gone. If this story moved you, inspired you, or made you think twice about the choices you make, like this video. Share it with someone who needs it. And most importantly, for more powerful stories like this one, turn on your notifications, because in our next video, we're diving into another tale that will shock you, heal you, and remind you that every twist has a reason.